Hey there, my friends. Silouan coming to you again with a little, I guess you could call it German philosophy. I'm not really sure it is German philosophy. It's more like Hasidic, Jewish, old guy philosophy. But it's from Martin Buber's book, I and Thou. Now, as I mentioned in the last little talk I gave, the book, more than anything, is about relationship and about the relationship that you want to enter into with the people around you, with the environment around you, in your community. I and you. Like, it's not just me, it's the both of us. That's why in his book, when he talks about it, the I and the you is like almost one word. Well, the contrast to that, what we're wanting to avoid is the I and the it. What that means is is when you objectify the world, that you don't see the world as something that you're in relationship with, okay? That it's symbiotic, that we're feeding off of each other. You see the world as I am in this world, and this world is just filled with objects, okay? It's what leads to thinking that, nothing is really a mystery. Everything is just particles and things you can feel and touch. One of the ways in the books he talks about it is an I and a you relationship is a mysterious one. It leads to mystery. It becomes less, what are you made of? Okay, and it becomes more, what is the relationship between us? Where an I and an it is all about the science, is all about the facts. Now, one of the dangers of the I and it relationship, it becomes very easy to objectify people. If you look at our world today, okay, and how we categorize people, it is not I and you, it is I and it, and what's really interesting to me is that, you've got a group of people will accuse another group of people of saying being racist. And then the people accusing the people of being racist give labels to everybody. And so you might be coming at it from a different perspective, but both sides are basically objectifying the other, okay? With an I and a you, all that melts away. It's not, you can be my friend, or, before I judge who you are, well, I'm going to look at who your parents were and what color's your skin and who do you have sex with? You don't even think about all that. It's going to be like, hey, how was the weather? Hey, let's go for a walk. Is this person nice to me? Does this person listen to me? Does this person, value my company? Can I trust them? Are they a good person? The you is about those things that are irrelevant to what the labels are. Now, Martin Buber was writing about this. He lived from 1878 to 1965. So he was a professor from 1938 to 1951. So he's writing about this where the world, there's a lot of war. And what do you do in war? You tend to objectify people. To kill someone, for me to kill you, you got to be bad. So war is really good at, we're good, you're bad. Even though that's not really life, Okay, even though in World War II, that young German soldier might have been a very good dude, but he's a Nazi, so he's bad. Makes it easier for us to kill. That's any war, okay? But they didn't have the technology that we do today. They didn't have the things that so easily separate us and allow us. Because, you see something through a phone, which is electronic, it is making everything an it. If you think about it, you got a phone and it's got a glass screen and it's got light coming through it. And you see a picture of a cartoon character and then you see a picture of a real person. They're both its. They're not there. You're not experiencing them. When a culture, when did he write this book? So he taught from 1938 to 1951. Let's just see when I and Thou was written. I and Thou was written, the translation was done in 1970. I want to see if I can find here when exactly. The translation was done in 1970. When did he write this? I can't find when he actually wrote the book. I'm going to have to look it up. But the translation is 1970. When a culture is no longer centered in a living and continually renewed relational process. So when culture is no longer about community and family, It freezes into the it world, which is broken only intermittently by the eruptive glowing deeds of solitary spirits. So basically it freezes into a world of objectivity. Life is not about relationship and family and love and marriage and kids and friends. It is about money and position and title, okay? From that point on, common casuality, which hereto was never able to disturb the spiritual conception of the cosmos, grows into an oppressive and crushing doom. Man, I love that. Now, he's a wordy guy, but think of what he's saying is when you're in relationship, imagine, I remember when I was a kid and I'd go to Mississippi and I had a lot of family down there. And you'd go to a meal after church and you've got your great-grandparents there. You got your grandparents there. You got little kids there. You got generations of people. Some people are sitting around watching football. Some people are outside running. Some people are in the kitchen talking. You got the smell of food. There's 50 people around. I have zero memory of feeling crushing doom. I have a memory of being happy and peaceful and just being able to sit on the couch and listen, okay? Because you're in relationship. Anytime in my life I felt crushing doom, I'm alone. I'm in my room. I'm looking at objects. Why don't I have what they have? How come why don't I look like that guy looks? Okay, the it world is what brings us doom. Relationship is what frees us. And as he put it, in a world of its, sometimes it's intermittently broken by the glowing deeds of solitary spirits. I mean, we can rise above it, but man, it is hard. Now, this isn't his time. Now, he was a Jew. One reason probably that he was so focused on this idea of the I and the it and the I and the you is, what did the Nazis do to justify burning Jews in ovens? They became its. They weren't yous, they were its. Okay? They were these creatures. Okay, but we all do that. We do that when we're mad at our neighbor. Think of what we do in relationships. Okay, you fall in love with somebody, and it's like you're one person. I want to be with you forever. I want to be with you till we're dead. Okay, you literally feel like one, and then that goes away. You don't like them. Think of how they become an object. They become a caricature. That person goes from, I love you and together we're one, to like, I don't like anything about you. I don't want you near me. They're not human anymore. They're not part of a relationship. They're an it. They're an object through a phone. And now, with technology, that's easier to do. It's not just easier to objectify people and make them its. It is also easier to be isolated and alone and to take yourself out of a relationship. And then the result might be you feel doomed. The result might be you feel lonely and alone. The result might be you feel superior to them. I can judge them. Look at you, I can judge you. Look at me from my chair on the phone. Oh, look, you're this or you're that. I think it's also why, there's always been bad. It's like blood always leads. It was kind of the old newspaper thing. Blood is the headline that leads, and it's that way today. But I can think of when I was a kid, a whole bunch of shows or things that were about happiness. I remember Paul Harvey, the rest of the story. It's all pure happy. Pure, like, here's positive in the world. And now I'm like, it's like everything leads with what's bad. Doom's coming. Not we have a bright future, it's doom is coming. There's this a group, local, like homeschool group we are, and I put up some good news about my son. And it got a fraction of the replies of all the bad stuff, all the things people don't like. It's like, if something's bad, I'm going to comment on it. If something's good, I'm not. And I wonder if it's because they're looking at that good thing, home alone, feeling doom, and they don't want to participate in someone's happiness because it makes them feel worse. So they just ignore it. But then when they see something bad, they go, oh, that's how I'm feeling. Click. In a weird, psychotic way, it actually makes you feel better in your doom. And then the doom comes. From that point on, common casuality, which hereto was never able to disturb the spiritual conception of the cosmos, grows into oppressive and crushing doom. So that basically, the it of the world, yeah, I might be broke, but, okay, I've got my friends I know at church. I've got my mom and dad. I've got my whatever it is. That doom could only break it intermittently. Now we're oppressed by it. That's all that we see. This is kind of heavy, but it's public. But I won't go into much detail about it. But just recently, a family that we know had a 18-year-old child die. And they died, you can fill in the blanks, on the anniversary of that child's brother who died a year before that. So on the anniversary of his brother, who was about a year or two older, dying, this one died. But think how oppressive that year might have been. Think how hard it is to avoid reminders now. That brother's Instagram page is there forever. That brother's Facebook page is there forever. Think how easy it is to be alone and you're depressed, okay? And you're in the same environment your brother was. And you're thinking, man, this world sucks. And then in that moment, all alone, nothing pulling you out of it. And, you are looking at pictures of your brother and you're thinking, well, maybe he's in a better place. And then all of a sudden the thought enters your brain, well, maybe if I was gone too. Is he feeling any pain? You see how easy that happens? It happens easy, man. You'd be shocked how easy that happens to people. And then you're all alone. It's video games. Okay, parents live far away. Who pulls you out of it? You don't go anywhere on Sunday morning. Nobody knows you. You don't have any friends that are older. Think of culture for millennia. That any community had wise people. Just think of the culture of a wise man or a wise woman or an elder. And what were they for? To learn from. Hey, I've been there before. I'm going to teach you. It was part of their culture. They glorified them. Well, think of how many young people now don't have any of that. They got no elder. They got no guide. They got no one wise. They don't have someone that, I can take one look at you and know what you've gone through because I went through it when I was your age and my kids went through it and I've seen 50 other kids like them and I see that look on your face and hey man, while we're eating this chicken pot pie after church, come over, sit by me, let me talk to you. They don't got that, okay? They are completely lost in an it world. You don't want that. So, maybe here's something that you could do that might help you is break your world down into an it versus a you. What are the things you do that are all about objects? That are all about, doing a job, being on a phone, watching TV, whatever. And then ask yourself, what are the things I do that are about relationships, okay? Where you really it's just you and another person. There's nothing in between you. You're just sitting there. And if you can't think of that many, just find one way to do it. Now, I'll end with this thought, and I almost hate promoting this program because I don't know if I like it or not, because there's parts of it I really like, and then there's other parts of it that just disgust me, because it's so objective. There's on the one hand, it promotes traditional stuff and it's trying to be about family. On the other hand, it's completely objectifying women. But it's like when I'm exercising, something I'll watch is Landman. And one of the things in there, though, that is so true, though, is the Billy Bob Thornton character's wife and her daughter volunteer at this nursing home. And I almost hate saying that, but that's what we need, man. That's what you need. We need a world where it's like, you know what I'm going to do today? Instead of tech or whatever, or I'm going to go to that nursing home and I'm going to go talk to somebody. I think where I live here in Kokomo, There's like a nursing home on the street as you leave my town. And during the summer, there's this guy you would always see. I think maybe he passed away. I don't remember seeing him last summer, but he might still be there. And he would be out on the sidewalk in a wheelchair, just waving to people. I never drove by and saw anyone who stopped to talk to him. Not once. That's me too. That's me looking in the mirror. I can't tell you how many times I would drive by him, and I'm the guy having this talk about this, and I would see him and I would be like, I bet you if I pulled over and just got out of my car and talked to him for 5 minutes, it would not just make that guy's day, it might make that guy's year. That guy would be talking about that for a long time. The guy sitting out by the street in his wheelchair, waving to people. You know why? Because he needs relationship and he knows it. And you know why we don't stop? You know why that errand we're running is like too busy to care for that person? It's because we are stuck in an it world. Isn't that a Stephen King horror novel? Is that what we're living in? An it world horror novel? I don't know. But anyway, till next time, do something to get out of your it world. Surprise somebody with being nice to them. Surprise somebody by talking to them. Maybe it's the guy in the wheelchair on the side of the road. Maybe it's somebody at a slow coffee shop and all they've been doing is running orders all day, and you sit there and start talking to them and asking them who they are. Maybe it's a phone call to an old friend. Maybe it's the people you see every day and you take them for granted and you just go, we see each other every day and we work every day. When's the last time we just talked and saw how life was? So let's get some lunch and turn off the phones and let's just talk. I don't care what it is. Or maybe pick up a book, get one for a friend, discuss some bearded old dude. I don't know, whatever it may be. I and thou, you. And I really hope, and I mean this, is more than anything, even though I am kind of being a hypocrite, I guess, and I'm using technology to reach people, I hope it is moving you in the direction to realize that things like this are a tool. Technology is a tool. I'm not someone that's like anti all technology, but use it as a way to get closer to people, it's a win. But use it as a way to be divide, it's a loss. So hopefully you will use this tech, you will use what I have done here as a bridge to the you with another. So I'm still on. Great to be with you. I'm out.